The group of survivors huddled together in an abandoned warehouse, their faces weary and their hearts heavy with grief. It had been 6 months since the zombie apocalypse began, and they had lost so much. Friends, family, and loved ones had all been taken by the virus that had spread like wildfire. Among the survivors was a young man named Jack, who had been a part of the failed spaceship test that had started it all. He had been the pilot of the ship, and the guilt weighed heavily on his shoulders. He had never imagined that a small meteorite, orbiting the planet, could cause such devastation. Next to Jack was a woman named Lily, who had been a scientist on the spaceship. She had been studying the meteorite and had discovered a small parasite clinging onto its surface. It was this parasite that had caused the virus that turned people into zombies. Lily had tried to warn the others, but it was too late. The meteorite had already collided with the spaceship, causing it to crash back onto Earth. The impact had released the parasite into the atmosphere, infecting everyone it came into contact with. The survivors also included a couple, Tom and Sarah, who had been on their honeymoon when the apocalypse began. They had lost their families and their home, but they had found comfort in each other's company. Rounding out the group was an older man named George, who had been a survivalist before the outbreak. He had been prepared for any disaster, but nothing could have prepared him for this. As they sat in the warehouse, surrounded by supplies they had scavenged from abandoned stores and homes, they discussed their next move. They had been on the move for months, never staying in one place for too long. But now, they were running low on food and resources. "We need to find a safe place to settle down," Jack said, breaking the silence. "Somewhere we can grow our own food and fortify against the zombies." Lily nodded in agreement. "I've been studying maps and I think I found a potential location. It's an old military base not too far from here." Tom and Sarah exchanged glances before Tom spoke up. "We'll go with you to check it out. We need to start thinking about the future." George grunted in approval. "It's about time we stop running and start fighting back." The group packed their bags and set out towards the military base. Along the way, they encountered hordes of zombies, but they had become experts at taking them down. They had learned to work together and use their surroundings to their advantage. As they approached the base, they saw that it was heavily guarded by tall fences and armed soldiers. Jack and Lily approached the gates cautiously, explaining their situation to the soldiers. After a tense conversation, the group was allowed inside. The base had been abandoned, but it was still intact. The group quickly got to work, fortifying the fences and setting up a perimeter. They also found a small garden and began planting crops, hoping to become self-sufficient. As they settled into their new home, they encountered other survivors who had also found their way to the base. Together, they formed a community and worked towards rebuilding their lives. Despite the safety of the base, the survivors never forgot the dangers of the outside world. They continued to go on supply runs and defend their home from zombies. One day, while on a supply run, Jack and Lily stumbled upon a research facility. Inside, they found a cure for the zombie virus. With the help of the other survivors, they were able to mass produce the cure and distribute it to those who needed it. The world slowly began to return to normal, and the survivors were hailed as heroes for their bravery and perseverance. Jack and Lily, who had once been filled with guilt, now felt a sense of redemption. As they looked out at their new community, Jack turned to Lily and said, "We may have started this apocalypse, but we also ended it." Lily smiled and replied, "And we did it together." The survivors had not only survived, but they had also found a new family in each other. And as they looked towards the future, they knew that they could overcome any obstacle as long as they were together. Yay, the end. Oh right, yeah, I have to do this stuff now. Like, comment and subscribe. And please watch my other videos and comment ideas on stories.